Okay, let's see how this goes. I'm calling this the Blizzard Special. It's Saturday night, February 23rd, here in Omaha. It's about 6:42 in the evening, and we're having a blizzard. It is like whiteout. If you follow me on Facebook, you saw the picture I just posted. You can barely see across the street. It's like an old-time blizzard. So I thought, I've been playing quite a bit of records today. If you've been following me, you're going to see I'm going to talk about some of what I've been listening to today and showing on Facebook. And I thought I'd make a special cup, even though it's the evening, to do this. I had dug out a box out of the closet looking for more monkeys, but I didn't get that far. But I came across something else that I think will be cool to share. As I've shared with you in past videos, I've had almost twice the amount of records that you see now in my life. Seriously, I have sold, given away, destroyed. That's a whole nother story I've told in the past about when my sister really kind of pushed me, really, it's the truth, to become aware of my blackness, and it was like a form of exorcism to get rid of all these white records. It was really quite traumatic. But anyway, what I'm about to share with you is I still have the very first album that was ever given to me. Now I have to qualify it because I don't have one of the two first records ever given to me. I don't have the first 45s. Obviously, in the little golden records we had as kids, that's where we start. One of the first records ever given to me was by my uncle or a cousin, but it was Here's Little Richard. Okay, I had that as a very young kid, maybe 5 or 6, okay? That was my first long player, but the first one that was given to me, the first one that I had is this one that my grandfather gave to me, and it's beat, I've just managed to hold on to it. It barely plays. Nat King Cole's Ramblin' Rose. See? Look at the back. I came across it in one of these boxes. It's just one of those records that I've known to just hang on to, and it's completely trashed because I was a kid. The truth of the matter was I was grateful my grandfather, who is truly one of the most direct role models of my life, in all honesty, and all of my family knows, and my brothers and sisters will agree with this. When he gave this to me, I was disappointed because I'm a kid, and I wanted the Beatles, and this is like listening to Lawrence Welk for a little boy, but at the same time I'm grateful because it's my grandfather. It's like I've even got it's torn off here, but you can just still see here where I had written something about Father Johnson. My grandfather Johnson. Something probably written here. That's a bummer that's gone, somehow that got torn off. But I was truly grateful, so I thought I'd show this. I actually have probably the first record in my record collection. Isn't that something? Although I know for many people, they still have their first records. So many records, again, it's just moot. They're gone, it's history. So many records I wish I still had. So, to start with, I've got a review that I'm going to be doing, but not here. If you guys happen to see Ben, not this one, I'll devote a short, complete video to reviewing this brand new Screaming Plastic. Brand new release. I'll start by the last couple days or actually all week since the release of the video for Checkmate with Mark Stanley and Carla Dereck. As is my nature, I've been tripping on it. You know, these things are small. They're probably small victories in the larger picture for everything, but to me they mean a lot. And so as a result, I've gone back and been listening a lot more to the music of Mark and Carla. And in particular, these last couple of days, I've been listening to Mark Stanley. He is quite a guitar player. This is called Blueberry Submarines, CD only. The man can play. Let me dig up the album, because I got this one piece of vinyl. Yeah, I showed it before. Farquhar, Dream Shit. I mean, this is really cool. I don't have to play it. Seriously, this is online. You can listen to everything online. Just when you're done watching this, or even while you're watching it, open up another window and play this on YouTube. It's killer. His writing, and then I have also the first Farquhar on CD that he sent to me. This other, I have to get to these again. He has a strange sense of humor, which Mark is a trip. You know, he's got an odd sense of humor going here, which I catch, and then it's like, because I'm too busy listening to the music. But he's funny. Insect Warriors. This has an amazing lineup. Sean Rickman on drums, Mark Egan on bass. I was thinking of grabbing that album. I've got one of his albums. Andy Milne. I've got one of his albums, CDs on keyboards. Dennis Chambers, you know that drummer. I love dropping those names. I mean, they're all players, because Mark is an amazing guitarist. I mean, his technique is just wow. Mark Stanley Quartet, Humans. Get your ears full. Go ahead and listen to Mark Stanley. You know, I ain't bullshitting. This man can play his ass off. It's like, damn. So, interestingly, that's why I also got to explain that when he sent the track Checkmate from this to me, it was so straight compared to this other stuff. I was thrown for a loop. I said, what? What's going on here? I didn't catch what he was doing. I'll say it, and again, I do repeat myself. I gotta maybe try to be more conscious of that. Like I said, now that it's done with the video and everything, and I've listened to this in context, this is killer. It makes sense. It's a really good, strong song, and it makes sense as a single and a video. I could hear it on the radio, you know, not regular quote-unquote radio, but you know what I mean? Underground radio. Okay, what else is in the stack? Well, okay, today is David Sylvian's birthday, which was pointed out to me. I would not have known. I believe someone said he's 61 today. And I first became aware of David Sylvian by acquiring a promo single of the band Japan before they broke. The song Sometimes I Feel So Low. I sold it a long time ago to a friend. Probably got $25 for it when I did. But I had that before it was released. Didn't really like it, but I did. You know what I mean? I liked it enough to keep it, but I was also intrigued. I could tell something was going on with this band. And so I've been kind of loosely following them since. And then once David Sylvian went solo, the 10 drum is really, again, gentlemen take Polaroids, and then 10 drum, it's like they crossed a threshold of creativity, the band Japan. Really original, really original. So I've been playing some David Sylvian today. This is a 12-inch single, Silver Moon, from the Gone to Earth album, working with stellar musicians, everyone from Robert Fripp to Bill Nelson, his brother Steve Jansen. I played that today. I was asked online what is my favorite David Sylvian, and I said, hard to say, but one that pops to mind for sure right away, interestingly, is an instrumental. This EP called Words with the Shaman, with John Hassel and Holger Zukai and his brother Steve Jansen. This is just... Again, you can find this online. This is some of the finest music. It is some of the finest music, it is. With that in mind, I pulled this because I hadn't played it in a while, because when it came out I was really disappointed. And this is really past the band, past their prime. Ride, they're back now, as you know, and their new stuff is back on track. I like their first stuff. This album, Carnival of Light, I forget, I think Mark, are you still watching? Mark, you gave this to me, thank you. I think I got that right. This is a double album, and I haven't read the lyrics, but I can tell by the sound that the band is falling apart. They're trying different songwriting styles. There's probably a bit of friction, and there is the level of inspiration is just about dead compared to their other stuff, you know what I'm saying? Because Ride's early stuff, fantastic. So I got through most of this tonight, and I'd say a third, if a third of these songs are pretty good, pretty good. But at the same time, because of my regard for the band Ride and the way that I collect, is that something that I would sell right now? No. No, it's something I want to keep. Renaissance, the classically inspired band started originally by Keith Relf of the Yardbirds, and then the mantle was passed on. Annie Haslam, they're still going now. A Song for All Seasons. This is, they have the period of classic albums like Prologue and Ashes Are Burning, Turn of the Cards, which I have all those on vinyl. Amazing albums. Scheherazade too. But this has actually got several really good songs. It's not on a par with those albums, but it's just about. Lovely, lovely music. Doesn't she kind of look like Julie Andrews? There's someone online pointed it out. And I thought to myself, son of a gun, I've been thinking that in the back of my head all this time too. Kind of looks like Mary Poppins. Played a track off of this, Kron, live. On the Spiegel, or Spiegel, or however you say the word for egg in German. I love that label. Love this band, I just do. I played the side where Helmut Hattler does a long bass solo and really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. Chicago band, Sea and Cake. Saw them. Members of Tortoise and some other people. Archer Pruitt's in the band. He signed it for me, you know, at the show. Laid back. You know, you could almost call this like a cocktail type of sound. Cocktail indie. It's actually a sound that I associate with Chicago. Not the whole city, but just kind of... when I hear Tortoise and just knowing... Also because I have my own history with Chicago. This is like Chicago music to me. The Sea and Cake. Haven't played that yet. Here's jazz rock from France, including members of Magma, and this cat, Michael Repoche. This is a record from the 70s, Equinox. I first heard of him from the band Zoo. I do have the album over here. It's somewhere in the region of Jean-Luc Ponty, but really with Yannick Top on bass, who was prominently in Magma for a while. His sound gives us that flavor too. A bit of the Zool bit. It's a good album. Good album. Here's one that was sent to me, and I befriended the person, Amandus. We haven't talked in a while. I posted this, and then he got a hold of me. We hadn't talked in a while. But he has this ambient project or guys. This is his guys. Equal Stones. Equal Stones is the name of his project. I have two of his albums. This one is called Transgression. I think this came out in like 2012. This is Ambient. This is really actually pretty amazing. That's why I posted it after starting to listen to it. I was like, holy shit, I know this, you know, this person. The artist sent this to me. This is like, we always think about Eno when you say the word ambient, but there's so many other areas. And this is like, as I tried to describe, listening to this is like looking at an old, grainy, mysterious black and white film that has all this texture. And more than seeing what's really going on, it's like you're kind of straining to see through what's, you know, it's pulling you in, because it's like you're wondering what's really going on. I hope you see this, Amanda. This is amazing, actually. Equal Stones, Transgression. I had not listened to this probably, you know, for years, obviously. And then I had to play it all the way through, and then one more time, one side. I do highly recommend this, people. Equal Stones. Wow. Wow. Yeah, that was like wow. Okay. Here's one that is collectible, but this is a reissue of it. But even the reissues are getting collectible. This is the Get Back reissue of the British band Circus, which included the sax flute player Mel Collins, who's played with everyone from Early Days in King Crimson to you name it, Caravan. He's played with everyone. I mean, Camel, I can't even, everyone. And this album to me is a mixed bag. I understand why the originals are collectible on the Transatlantic label. They do Norwegian Wood, which leaves me cold. It's side 2 that I like on this. It's a jazzy, proggy sort of sound. And they're good players. It's not just Mel Collins, you know. Chris Burrows on drums. Circus. Can I see what year? Right quick, this is early 70s that this originally came out. Yeah, it's not on the back here. Look it up though, Circus. How am I doing? I'll go longer. Canadian band, Chimo. This is 1970. This is back what I call the halcyon days. The end of the 60s, beginning of the 70s for me was an interesting time musically. I was just a kid, and it just seemed like anything went musically. People were trying all kinds of stuff. So this is a Canadian band. The musicians are obviously well trained. There's some blues in it, but it's all over the place. You know, it's dramatic. It's kind of progressive. It's kind of psychedelic. And then it's like blood, sweat, and tears a little bit, but I don't think they have horns, but it has to do with the arrangements. Chimo. This is really good. Mostly really good. I had this as a kid and got rid of it, and thankfully found another copy of this not that long ago. Black History Month. I was digging in my box and came across this, and I had never listened to this album deeply, and so this weekend I listened to this all the way through, and I must say I was it's like, this is remarkable. I don't know when this was released, but this is the Oakland Youth Orchestra with Robert Hughes conducting, the black composer in America. And what we have here is they're doing pieces by Ulysses Kay, George Walker, now the next person, William Grant Still. If any of these composers are known, William Grant Still is, perhaps William Dawson, who is also on here. And then, never mind, also William Fisher, who probably is known probably for his orchestration and work on other people's records. Arthur Cunningham and Stephen Chambers. This is really remarkable. I I like to try to use superlatives, although I have to keep using the same ones. But the pieces don't at all sound alike. They're all played really well. This does not, youth orchestra, you know, if you took the youth out, you know, it's like orchestra. This is some really, really well rehearsed and realized performances. And is there something that would distinguish these pieces of music as black composition, like black contemporary classical composition, as opposed to anyone else? I'd say a couple of them are. Just a rather unique or interesting approach to the rhythm, the orchestration, and also the way the piece kind of builds to a very strange climax. Can't remember which one it was. I think it might be the Passacaglia by George Walker. Black composer in America. If you ever see this record, grab this. German band, Grobschnitt, Rock Pommelsland. Part of my Brain Records collection. If I could collect this label all the way, I would, which would be a lot of records. Very good label out of Germany. This is progressive rock. And that's not Roger Dean. It looks like Roger Dean's artwork, but it's inspired by Roger Dean. It's some guy named Hans something. Apart from the vocals, which really are a distraction to me, I really like this music. Several of the passages of this are just very, very nice. You can hear where you could probably trace it to a particular classical composer, but thankfully it's not that derivative. Just that it's kind of like Emerson, Lake and Palmer and stuff like that, you know what I mean? On the keyboard side of prog. Good album, Grobschnitt. I have maybe one more of their albums. I've had more in the past. Like I keep saying. Okay, we'll keep going just a bit more. This is a Peter Gabriel production. It's really a Peter Gabriel album with a bunch of other people. There's other tracks where Gabriel's not directly involved, but he's on almost all the tracks. Big Blue Ball. This is the limited edition numbered version on blue vinyl. I'll go ahead and pull it. It's a nice looking. I've played this a bunch now. I love Peter Gabriel, number one. He incorporates his love for soul, the American, the black American, but also what I can call the European. Isn't that beautiful? Mixture. Hope I don't get this wrong. I think of Ireland. I think of the word Celt. There's a real soulfulness to a lot of the folk music that I hear. You know, people like for example Shirley Collins when she sings. You all know who I'm talking about. I don't have any of her records anymore. The names are escaping me, but there's some music on here where you're using the tin whistle or that Irish thing, and it's got that yearning. And then there's Peter with the other thing where he's doing the, I love it. You know, it's soulful. And then there's the African music and the Middle Eastern artists on here. Peter wasn't the first, but he is definitely someone to give credit to for trying to open doors to musicians and music from all over the world. Now, after I pulled my albums, I played some, and Murphy got played a bit. And since this is my music, I'm thinking I'm going to put just a little bit of this on because I blow myself away. It's like, you know, this is really pretty good. have so many favorites on here. Just let this go for a few minutes, you know. Photo by Jeff McLennan, VC member. That is sweet. I mean, you know, it's like kind of blow myself away. I made that. It's like if I hadn't made that, that's the music I'd be looking. If I heard that, if I happen to hear that somewhere, I'd want to know, who is that? What is that? That's something I want to hear. I feel that. This is long gone. You can probably maybe find it used. Maybe. Proud of that bitch. I am. Played some of this too. A whole different sound than that. It's all online if you want to know. Just about done here, people. Yeah, look at how long this is. I'm down to the records I showed you. People, thank you so much for being so kind. I looked back at my last video and I did pretty good at staying, you know, keeping, you know, trying to finish my trains of thought, you know, because it just tumbles out, you know. And I appreciate hearing back from you, and I do understand that some of you connect on a very healing, I'll use that word, healing level with some of what you hear me say, because there is a therapy for myself. As you know, I know that it's like I could be using my words, and they're not always well, but I try to use my words with impeccability, like the 4 agreements. Try to be positive, but I'm human, and so I'm, you know, you get it all. You know, you get what I'm feeling. But I try to share the underlying focus of my life, besides music. But as you see, music is a big part of it. I do think it's important that anyone who's thinking about things like this to try and share it with people, because I'll say it many times, it's the very nature of the times we're in that it is it's rote. It's the normal thing to be distracted, real short attention span, much more disconnected from people than one we think. We're interacting, we're communicating, we're using our devices a lot, but we're just doing a lot of babbling, actually, talking at each other rather than talking with each other. So I always remember, because this is something that I learned. I started with my grandpa, my uncles. I'm not dissing, you know, this is not to bypass my parents. I just got to tell where what came from. My parents, they get credit for a whole nother list of amazing things that I'm happy to thankful for. But my grandpa and my Uncle Harry were the ones who told me about listening, you know. It's important to listen. People do active listening, you know. And then later, I learned more about active listening as an actual skill. So I keep it conscious. to listen, or to realize when I'm not listening, because 80% people do not listen. Does that seem high? No, it's not, people. Come on and get real and look at just how fucking crazy ass the world is. You know what I'm saying? Come on now. So that's why I say these things. You know, it's good for me, you know, as well as knowing that, you know, you're not alone if you feel like the world is crazy, or you feel... I think some people really feel alone. I don't, okay? But loneliness is a plague. All this connectability, all this ways of being connected, and all these people and all these things we can do, and yet I know, because I'm an observer, and I'm also one of you. A lot of people are really, really lonely, you know. So music, I know that are a lot of people, this is what they do, and for them it's a crutch, you know. It's not a crutch for me, you know. If it's gone, it's fucking gone, you know. I've been through it, you know what I'm saying? I love this, but it's like, I see through it, you know, and that's why I try to share it, you know. I'm not under any illusion that this record collection, the record collection makes me what I am, even though it does. You know, right? Do you understand? You know, the impermanence of everything. And it's like, who and what I am, it's like, if it all burns to the ground or gets destroyed in a flood or something, do I still exist? I would hope so. Something that I was reading recently, Laurie Anderson, who I love, and I've met. I've got a t-shirt that she signed, and somewhere I ought to get it out. She, in the Hurricane Sandy, her basement studio got flooded out and she lost everything, her archives. She was talking about that in a interview recently, you know, going through the process of at first loss, and then the awakening of, I'm free. Oh, I had a lot of shit, you know what I'm saying? I understand that about this, even though I don't want to lose anything. Just, you know what I'm saying? The idea is to be aware and just try to not be like the typical person that is just not... We all just... Self-awareness and awareness really could go a long way. One other thing that I've been wanting to share that I keep forgetting to say, because I've been trying to make sure I say it in a way that doesn't sound too crackpot. I gotta stop here. I'm going a long time. I never put the phone to my head, even out in public. I very seldom answer calls. You know what I'm saying? And when I do, I'll just use the speakerphone when I'm out in public. Don't put it to my head because of radiation. Now, I know that the radiation is throughout the air, and so there's nothing I can do about that. But I do know that putting it to your head is not a good idea, because then it's the direct, even more direct, you know, radiation signal to the head. Now, what I'm saying is, I have said this, tried to say this before, and I suspect there's some truth to what I'm saying, that we in general are suffering some residual effect of all the radiation that we've been bombarded by since these have become so ubiquitous. I don't know that, but I'll bet you that has something to do with the erratic nature of the way that people don't think and just react, and the way the attention span is so short. And just one more thing, people just really do seem to be quite immature. You know, the average level of what discourse in America is high school, if even that. You know, it's like people gave up trying to pass on what it's really like to become an adult. You know, I struggle with it myself, you know what I mean? So that's why I pass this shit on. Okay. I think I've said enough.